Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633, back with another Transformers review. Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Takara Legends LG-52 Targetmaster Misfire with his Targetmaster Aimless. Now this is the second out of the three main Decepticon Targetmasters that were not reused from the main cast of the Transformers, which was Cyclonus and Scourge, which unfortunately still has not had a Fracas release, which is unfortunate. But at least we got the second out of the three Targetmasters here. This is actually the first time I own this mold, so it's actually going to be pretty cool to actually look at for the first time on camera. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box. The box is pretty much your typical Transformers Legends style release. It has obviously the open bubble with his head there, along with the Targetmaster that's there. Has a picture of Misfire there. Has another picture of this toy form, and pretty much how it transforms and so on. And that pretty much gives you an idea what to expect here. The main contents, as I mentioned, is his Targetmaster, his Headmaster, and this instruction booklet, which once again has a little comic inside. So you pretty much get the idea what you're going to expect, at least in terms of contents. Before anything else, we're going to take a little comparison. Here is Misfire next to Triggerhappy, which is the only other standard Targetmaster in the Legends line I got so far. Since Slugslinger has not been released yet, this is pretty much what I got so far. So now we're going to take a look at Misfire more closely. In terms of articulation, you're not going to get a whole lot of difference compared to other Transformers in this line, but he does maintain the same ball-jointed head in the way that it's designed for the Titanmasters. He has ball joints at the shoulders. I apologize once again, it's actually swivels. Has in and out movement. It has swivels here. And it's a single elbow joint. It has some wrist pivots, but due to transmission, he actually has 360 waist articulation, ball joints at the hips, swivels at the thighs, more than 90 degrees for transformation at the knees, and the camera focus please, and he does have some ankle pivots due to transformation. So now we're going to take a look at his Targetmaster Aimless. Do not know why. There we go. The camera was acting like that. So now we're going to take a look at Aimless. In his actual Targetmaster mode, you're not going to get a whole lot of difference between the multiple Targetmasters. Obviously, it does have a different type of barrel since he did have the twin barrels, but the overall design is about the same we've seen with the other Takara Legends Targetmasters. To transform it, it's pretty simple. It's pretty much exactly the same as you've seen with the others, so we're just going to quickly go through it. So now we're going to swivel his head, which can be a little bit tricky in this one since it's rather tight on my copy. And take a look at Aimless in his robot mode. Now this is actually still really cool. I do really like the fact that Takara still made these very unique Targetmaster molds. Articulation, you're going to get exactly what we've seen with the others. Ball joints at the shoulders. The fuse joints at the knees. Sorry, the hips. But you can move them separately. He does have the ball joints at the knees, but that's about it. As a comparison, we're going to quickly transform Blowpipe here as an example. So, we're going to take a look here. And you pretty much get the main idea what to expect when actually getting a hold of these figures. At least the actual figures are more uniform since they are in the same style, so it definitely works out in the end, regardless of the fact they are retools of each other. Here they are side by side. Luckily the head sculpts are unique as well, so that's pretty cool. I really do enjoy that Takara still made these, and it's unfortunate that Hasbro did not make it in their line. So anyways, we're going to take a look at his Titanmaster next. We're going to move the head, and take a look at the robot mode of his Titanmaster. I actually do not know the name of the US version. I'm pretty sure it's still the same we've seen with Misfire. But the Takara version doesn't have a name once again, from what I could tell. But it's still a pretty cool little Titanmaster. And we're actually going to take this off to the side and go on to the transformation. Misfire in his vehicle mode. This is actually a pretty cool vehicle mode, even if it's a heavy retool of the previous molds we've seen. It's pretty much utilizing the Triggerhappy mold and several of the other figures we got in Titan's Returns, but I think it turned out pretty nicely. One thing to note, though, is that it seems to be a topic of debate exactly what color Misfire is supposed to be. Either he's going to be a brighter shade or a darker shade, since from time to time, every time he was in even the rebirth part of G1, the colors were not really consistent, so it's a bit weird what happened there. One thing I do not like about this figure is that the way that they designed the transformation back here, where the arms peg into, they don't exactly like to stay in very well, so they do pop up quite easily, and I find that really annoying, especially since a lot of the other designs worked out a lot better in the long run. It does feature a cockpit, which you can open to put in a Targetmaster, and what's really cool is that unlike the other figures, which usually just has his legs splayed out like that, this one actually has it so that his Targetmaster can actually fit in more naturally. So that's really cool that you actually can do that with this particular figure. And he does include a port area where you can actually plug in the Targetmaster. Although there doesn't seem to be really any other place to attach him, is even at the bottom, which it seems like there could have been something, but there's just not enough space or any real area to peg in. Because of that, he also does not have any landing gear, so I find that really weird that this figure did not actually have that, but at least he can actually stay up with no problem. As a comparison, here he is next to Triggerhappy, which I think he turned out really nicely, and I really enjoy what Takara and Hasbro did for the overall mold for Misfire. In conclusion, I think Misfire turned out very nice, and even if he's a heavy retool of an existing mold, I think it turned out really good for the overall character, since the newly retooled parts really do help the figure overall. One thing to note, which I didn't mention at the beginning, is that looking at the original G1 release, we had a problem with the actual piece of the plane mode not folding into the right position. But luckily, in this particular version of the design, Hasbro and Takara has definitely upped their game and fixed that glaring issue that the G1 version actually had. So that's really nice that they actually have it so that it actually transforms more properly. Seeing as the Hasbro version of this figure is quite hard to get a hold of, even when it first came out, it's definitely a lot better in the long run to just get a hold of the Japanese release, since you're actually going to get the Targetmaster along with the overall better paint, etc. So your best bet is to probably just get this one. It is available on BBTS from what I could tell. I did get mine at Amiami, and I think it may still be up there, so your best bet is to check there. It was around $30 before shipping, which actually turned out pretty good, since the overall package was definitely worth the price entailed. Anyways, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check out Twitter under DarkOn633, same thing with Instagram under DarkOn633. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen in order to see my content go up as soon as possible, and please check the other channels down below. I'll be back with more transfers reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.